My name is Anya, and this time I want to make a little series about smudging and everything that goes with it, about the resins, about the herbs. So I want to get all into that, and what you can use for what purposes. So, and I'm going to explain every week at least two, like I was thinking maybe a resin and an herb or a resin and a flower. And once I introduced a few, I'm gonna help you to prepare some nice incense mix for certain purposes. So, but first I want to talk a bit about smudging itself, of course. So, yeah, as we know, incense has an effect on the body and mind, right? So, because during smudging or burning incense, like substances are released on a neural level. So, and even science deals with it closely by now. So, because there are about 20 million cells in our nose, and the fragments in the smudging and in the smoke, they signal, they send signal to the brains, so the substances of the fragrance, right? And they influence the human nervous system, as we know. So, and also in addition, when substances are burnt, when incense are burnt, they release substances. So, and they have a mind expanding effect. So, because they change certain brain activities. So, and finally, the incense also exerts a special influence on the psyche. So, like information that are contained in the incense itself has an effect on a deep level of consciousness. And this is already proven by aromatherapy, as we know. So, and the burning of incense is like one of the oldest ritual practices of humanity. It's fact. So, because the smoke of it has always been attributed like magical and medical properties. So, smudging and folk medicine has been used for many millennia, because people, they recognized in very early on the positive effects of certain incenses on health. For example, we know from the ancient Egypt that they used smudging as a healing application. So they fumigated the sick on certain diseased body regions, for example. And then we have, of course, our shamans, and I'm talking global shamans. Is it Nordic ones? Is it the natives? Is it in Africa? Is it everywhere? They have been always healing with the smoke of the incense, of the smudging, and they use certain plants to do that. So, and they were blowing the smoke as well on certain areas, certain effective areas on the sick people. So, and linked of this is, of course, the view that morbid demons infest humans, but I don't like to talk of it as demons. So, as we know it, because, as I said before, we are our own demons, most likely. And then also, secondly, there is nothing to be afraid of demons. They're nothing but created energy from someone else. So, but let's not get into that. So, and we've know entities can attach to humans, right? And therefore, smudging is a big help for that as well. Also in India, smudging is an important part of the Ayurveda medicine. And with selected fumigants, they're being used for certain diseases. So, and even in the traditional Chinese medicine, smudging has been used for a long time in the moxie therapy, where the moxa or moxa sticks, they're like cigar-shaped sticks. They're made of mugwort, and they're placed on clothes or over certain acupuncture points of the body after the ignition. So, in the combination of warmth and incense, that will stimulate the weakened areas in the energy circulation, so the meridian system, so that the chi energy can flow. So that moxa bastion is used both for the treatment of disease and also for prevention of diseases. And the Japanese also know the moxa therapy. What else we have? Tibet. Yeah, smudging they're being used to treat mental illness. And even in Western culture, smudging was a permanent fixture in medicine and folk medicine until the 1960s. And it was even, back then, even certain instances were sold in pharmacies. Yeah, not anymore, of course. So also smudging has been used for many thousands of years for the purpose of cleaning places and dwellings. And it is part of the regular custom of people to carry out large cleaning operation at regular intervals to provide for internal and external things. So we have, for example, our traditional spring cleaning, right? So therefore it's important not only to remove like the material dirt, but it's also at the same time that we need to let order and harmony on the emotional level in. So, and incense, supports such cleaning processes and also have purifying effect on the subtle level, And back then, when our ancestors smudged, it was less about the fragrance of the rooms. It was more than about their survival. So not only that they smudged their living areas, they also smudged the stables. It was cleaned and the disease energies expelled. And it was important that humans and livestock were healthy and remained, because only then was a barren life to survive, right? And after cleaning, the protective smoke or smudge was used to ward off curses and all sorts of other negative stuff. And, which I find very interesting, it was also smudged when a storm came up. But of course not in a little bowl, then in more larger dimensions, right? So all kind of magical plants were piled up and lit in the yard or on the field edge, so that the rising smoke also had enough power to drive out or diffuse dangerously filled clouds. So that's how high it went. Very nice. So, and of course, like I mentioned, it's important for spring cleaning, not only to get rid of dirt. So, and just in case you ask why, I will try to explain that. So, there's certain instances or herbs, resins that for cleaning that help you to create a good atmosphere, like free from entities, spirits, even electrosmogs, bad energies, negative entities like presences. So, and even in our time today, it is really worthwhile to fall back into those old traditions, really. Like periodically clean your rooms in the house or the apartment or your workspace, even whatever, makes you feel good. So And there are certain fumigants that have a particularly strong cleaning effect, and they should be used for those kind of smudging, cleaning rituals. So, but like I said, I'm getting into that. So, and if you want to go a little deeper, of course, if you want to go into a little ritual where it's more like an energetic cleaning, you can add certain helpers in addition to the resins or herbs, right? You can either call upon your spirit guide or your higher self, whatever you do, but just make sure it's an energy you know, right? Just don't call upon nilly-willy. So, also you can use crystals or quartz, always very helpful. Like, which is very effective for electrosmog, for example, is rose quartz and rock crystal. And I'm not talking 5G or Wi-Fi, I'm just talking plain old electrosmog that you get when you turn on your TV, when you turn on your computer, when you turn on any electrical device, okay? And then make sure that you clean those crystals periodically under running water. Very important. So also, what I do is I sprinkle blessed sea salt in certain affected areas, or even as a protection. Also, what you can do, or what I like to do as well, is I like to use moon water, which is a pain in the yin yang to collect, because you either have to wait for the rain or you have to take it off snow. So that can take a while. And make sure it's not for drinking purposes, okay? So, and of course, very important as well is a meditation and visualization of positive energies. Don't go in there all like, bleh, you know? Don't bring in negative energies to the negative energies. So if you're tired or in a bad mood, just skip it maybe for a day. So also, which you can use as well, are singing bowls or drums, or other instrument, whatever suits you. So you can even create a song, you know. And all of this can create positive vibrations. And this helps for negative atmosphere in living spaces, caused by external energies, you know, and which could be anything. It could be a death, it could be a curse, it could be an illness. You just went through separation, or even other negative events that took place there in the past. And how can I explain this? Sometimes some energy remains in a house or in a room from someone else. And have you ever walked into a room and you had the feeling someone was just there, and then you find out that your partner, friend, whoever just walked through that room 5 minutes before? This is what I mean with remaining energies. And this could be anything. This could be spirits as well. They might not even be there anymore, but the energy residue is still left. So, but with all of this help, it's like no problem to get rid of it. So, but before you start smudging, you need some supplies, right? So, what you need is a little bowl or a shell, or you can get one of those little incense burners. I prefer my little bowl, and I filled it with sand. Sand is the next thing you need. Then you need the charcoal and a feather and a little spoon. like preferably not like a teaspoon size because it's big. Like if you can get a little spoon, so you can put the incense from wherever you store your incense on the charcoal. And if you like a little coal tongue or even a tweezer is enough if you to ignite your little charcoal with a lighter, because as soon as you put your lighter on the charcoal, you can hear the little crispy noise and you see the little fire spots going through the charcoal. Some are faster, some are slower. And yeah, it can help not to burn your fingers because I've been there, done that. I wear the t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? So I still don't use it though, but so I'm just recommending. So, oh yeah, and a mortar and a pestle you should get as well. So you can grind the resins and the herbs, mix it all nice together. If you have roots or even bark for certain ceremonies or purposes, you might get a little grinder. So, like if you burn bark or roots inside the house, you want to make them very small because they fumigate like big time. So what is very, very important is the charcoal. So that little black thing, it almost decides if your smudging will have success or not. So really, so the charcoal must really be really, really hot and covered with a fine layer of ash. Like if it's like looks grayish and in the middle red, then it's good. Then you can start. Then you can grind all your ingredients and the mixture depends on, of course, what you're planning to do, right? So yeah, because if you start doing it before you see that fine layer of ash, or it's like all the way through, and you start putting your stuff on there, it will be out soon. So so even when you take off the burnt resins or the burnt mix from the coal, just keep looking if it's still glowing. And what I mean is between, you have to take off the old stuff between because it burns out. But you will see once you start doing it, it gets really black. There is nothing much left of the resin. So all you have is mostly like having leftovers of the roots and herbs that get very black. So you want to scrape that off between. But don't do it too early either. But you will get a feeling for it. So like I said, and if the ember in the charcoal is a little too weak, you can use your feather to fan it a bit. It's really not that bad. It's just important that, yeah, the charcoal is lit all the way through before you start. So also what helps, if you don't have those little incense jars with a net, you can put a very fine layer of quartz sand on the charcoal, because this way the resin portion in your incense mix will not burn so quickly. So, and yeah, the charcoal lasts longer too. And when you start the charcoal, some complain that it stinks and smells. I personally don't. I like it. But if you think it smells or whatever, just don't worry about it. Put it in the front door or by a window until it's all done. I mean, done. Ready for your little session. So, and yeah, then last but not least, when you're all done with smudging, let the coal, whatever is left, cool down. And once it's all cooled down, you can give the ash back to nature. Either if you want to put it in a flower pot or in a vegetable patch, it doesn't matter really. On the flower bead, whatever you have outside, I leave that up to you. And you do not need to worry. There is no bad vibration or bad energy attached to it because you were smudging. I mean, how could it, right? Because everything that you took care of, the smoke takes away. So don't worry about that. I mean, I myself, I use the ashes and I give it back to the fire. So, and I even keep certain parts of the ashes for certain seasons, like for Yule when I burn incense. I keep that ash with a piece of the Yule log for the next fire and I open it with it. But that's just like my personal favorite. So you can do whatever whatever suits you. So, oh yeah, and the feather. So, don't get all paranoid that, you need now the eagle feather and you can't get one. I started out with a simple swan feather in Germany that I found on the lake because we had a lot of swans. So, it doesn't matter really how you begin. So, what is important is when it comes to the active smudging, there's a lot to observe and pay attention to. So concentration is mandatory. So what the feather does is it will guide the smoke. It will direct it. And that's what I do. I direct the smoke and where I want it. Is it on a body part? Is it on a wall? Is it on a glass? Is it whatever you do, right? So, and then you also need to pay attention that the smoke really goes where you want it to go. So, and there are several ways to smudge, and none of it is really the wrong way. You do what your instinct tells you, okay? Just make sure you're really concentrated on the intent. But I still want to give you some examples just to, give you an idea in case you haven't done it. So there are purification ceremonies, those you can do alone or you can do them with others. So if you do them with one should be the ceremony guide, ceremony master, whatever you want to call it. So just one uses the bowl or the smudge. So, and if it's with many people, you start with a sitting circle and you get your incense for whatever purpose, for the cleaning in this case, right? And then in the ceremony, the shaman, the healer, or whoever does the ceremony goes from one person to another with a bowl in his hand and in front of him. And then he's fanning with the help of the feathers the smoke to the person. And the other person pulls the smoke with her hands to the heart and over the head and the arms and at the end to the feet. So, and during that process, that person visualizes being healed and cleansed. So, and at the end of that ceremony, the shaman or the ceremony leader places the bowl on the ground and waits until everything is completely burned. So, and in this way, the space of the smoke is offered to the place, like, it's still there, it's still active. So, and those rituals you can, like I said, support with a song, with a chant. That's nice. So depending on what I do, sometimes I get songs they're giving to me that I chant. So yeah, just pay the attention. So when I purify a house or an apartment energetically, like what I do, I walk through it first and I tune in a bit and see what's going on. And so, but that I do after I prepared everything, right? So that I have everything I need. And I ignite the chakra before that as well. So first I prepare everything and then I take a quick tune in the house or apartment, room, certain area of the house, depending on what is going on. And then, yeah, and then I start. So once I tuned in and I have my stuff ready and I start, and from there is no more talking. So I do not speak during a cleansing or cleaning at all. So, but that's just me, personal. So, but again, you can support your cleaning with a song or whatever comes to your mind, right? I just do it in silent. I do. So, and again, now we go. Do you start left? Do you start right? What is the wrong way? What is the right way? There is none. But when I clean a house, what I recommend works best for me, but you will find it out yourself. I start in the corner of the house, in the back corner of the house or in the room, and then I work my way forward to the exit or the window, and I visualize how the negative energy is absorbed by the smoke. And then at the end, I open the door and let the smoke out. So, like I said, you need to know what feels right for you. It doesn't matter if you start left or right, So, it doesn't. Oh, yeah. Let's take a wall, for example, in a house, right? Start below and fan the smoke against the wall. So what you will experience, or what you might experience during sessions where you clean a house or something else, which I find very exciting, is when the smoke makes a bump, like as if it's avoiding an obstacle. So I like that. It's like exciting. So, and here it's now really necessary to persist and fanning the smoke to the spot with your feather until the smoke takes a straight course again, So, and then you have to be completely in tune with your thoughts and mentally support the smoke. And that's the must do of a smudging. So the smoke is fanned behind and under the cabinets and even under beds and even in drawers or little figures or pictures, And especially if you have secondhand things off antique stores, please cleanse them. So you can cleanse whatever. You can cleanse the sink in your bathroom, It sounds funny, but we leave our blueprints everywhere, our energetic blueprints. So, yeah, so the traditional way of smudging is, or how I do it is also, which goes back to the ancestors, what I mentioned. Once everything is well ventilated, after your cleaning ritual, you can smudge again. So then you can use a protective incense mix to put protection on the house or on the place or on the person, right? So That's why I have several mixtures for everything, something. Well, right now I don't. I have to get new supplies, but I yeah, I like to have little ones ready, especially when I do energy with work with people. I have one here, and depending on who I do with I make a new one. So yeah, like I said, you can do it however you know. I mean, you can make mixtures for protection, for blessing, transformation, and even gratitude, you know. I mean, whoever thanks the house you live in that you have shelter, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then we also have the smudging as medicine application. So there's a wide range for that as well. So the use of incense for health problems is really quite diverse. So some of the traditional uses, like the really most traditional uses, are fears, asthma, you know, your respiratory tract. If you want to disinfect the room air, if you have skin problems, exhaustions, immune system, like the strengthening of the immune system, even headaches, cramps, migraine, fatigue, rheumatism, pain, what else? Sleep disorders, stress, sadness, there is no limit. Right? So it's a lot of properties for smudging. So the medicine applications, the ritual, the ceremonic, energetic cleaning purposes. There's so much we can do with that. And oh yeah, before I get now into the resin, just a quickie before like herbs. If you want to collect herbs yourself in the nature in your garden, like the best time to gather plants is like the late morning. So the dew, you know, when the plants are still that wets the plant is already dried. So and not when the sun is too hot. So yeah, so somewhere in between. So therefore the herbs are quite relaxed, and they're and when it's too hot, then the plant will reduce its its power, its strength. It draws back a bit, you know, like we do when we sleep. The plant does the same. So yeah, go like latest till 10 in the morning, you can say. And also, of course, you gotta, with all of them, with roots and all, you gotta make sure you gather them at the right time. So you need to have a little patience too if you use your own, right? Because depending on when and what, the plant might lose its strength. So especially herbs have different collection times. So, but just so you get an idea, like roots and tubers, they're best collected in the spring, before plant sprouting, or in the autumn after plant dying. Because that's when they have most of the energy. And leaves, they're collected prior to flowering. And flowers you should collect right shortly after blooming. That's what I just did with some apple blossoms here. And then, of course, we have the berries, like juniper berry, right? So therefore, the plant must be ripe. So or the fruit, like the juniper berry, must be ripe, or other than that, the plant doesn't have all its active substances yet unfolded. And then we have, what else do we have? The seeds. Yeah, like fennel seeds. Yeah, you can collect them before they die, preferably, of course, right? And then, of course, resin, like some of the resins we cannot get, we have to buy, but like you can get pine tree resins, large, and some of them, like I have a pine tree here that's just leaving some resin that I'm collecting. I still have to clean it though. Just again, take only as much as you need, and that goes for the herbs and roots and everything as well. Don't be greedy. So, and if you decide to cut a tree to get resin, which I wouldn't recommend because you need to know what you do, please make sure to seal the cut after. So, but I don't do this. I wait until the tree is ready. So, that's what I prefer. Okay, then let's start with our first smudging herb. And for this time, I picked the mugwort. Yeah, most of you maybe know mugwort of the kitchen, right? For cooking, but it's much more. So mugwort is like a native plant in Europe, Asia, and North America as well. And if you see mugwort growing, you might not really pay attention to it. You might even consider it as weed because of its appearance as well. It looks rather a little unattractive at first glance. Its leaves are like deeply serrated and dark gray color. And even the flowers are hardly to recognize sometimes. So because they're almost colorless. So, but it can grow like everywhere on roadsides or all soils, like really. You can say grows like weed, what people like to say, which is BS. Of course, there is no weed. So, even you've seen them and you overlooked, right? That's why I put some pictures up as well. So, but for our ancestors, however, it had an almost legendary meaning, right? So, is it the Saxons? They worshipped mugwort because it was sacred to them, and it was a protective plant of Odin. And also the Germanic god Thor, he owned a belt of mugwort. And it was supposed to strengthen his power. So even mortal humans should be strengthened by a mugwort belt. So, and such a belt as to be braided at the summer solstice. So then you're able to develop the full power. Yeah, and also such a solstice belt was burned in the fire at the end of the festival. So, and this should burn everything bad. So not only the North American Indians or the ancient Greeks and our ancestors have cherished mugwort as a fumigant, but it also has been, like I said, an important role in the traditional Chinese medicine, as I mentioned before, right? The moxie. So it gives you like really new energy and strengthens your life force. So, and also the mugwort is a strong cleaning and protective plant when you smudge it. It is also a threshold plant that accompanies and protects you or us in the other world. So, and you can use mugwort pretty much in any incense mixture because it has a right range, which with what it stands by your side. So it strengthens our self-healing powers, It has a warming and soothing effect so that we can sleep well. And it supports us when we're weak and discouraged, in certain life situations, and also helps in computer rooms, from the electrosmog to build. So also back then with the Celts, it was a great plant for female energy, and it was sacred to the Teutons and the Celts, like I said. So what they did, they smudged and blessed the abdomen of women to bless it. And as I mentioned before, for all shamans in the world, it is an important ingredient in all kind of smudging rituals because it's highly effective for magical oracles or for wisdom and for clarity and clairvoyance. And before I forget it, before I continue, don't drink tea or smudge mugwort when you're pregnant. It's really not good. So please don't. So back to the plant. I just thought I mentioned that before I forget. And the nice thing from mugwort, you can use everything. Not only the plant part, but also the roots and the marrow. It's really nice. So, let's say if you don't feel so good, and through problems or you fall in kind of a black hole. So this mugwort will help you to get back on your feet, and because it has mood enhancing property. So it can animate you and still takes the restlessness, right? Because sometimes you have to calm down now in order, you have to be not calm, you have to be, how can I explain that? I explained that before with Valerian, because you think, how can that work to be calm and on the other side animated, like, woo. Just the balance, like, and mostly we feel restless or anxious if we're down, like can't move, can't walk, right? So what it does, it touches your mind and it establishes a connection between itself. So I'm talking itself, the mugwort, and your mind. So it gives you clear visions, daydreams that reveal much more of yourself. So I love it. And like I said, it protects you. Mugwort is really cool protection plant. And so therefore, as I said, it can also protect you of nightmares. You can even smudge your sleeping area with it. Like half an hour before you go to bed, just make sure you open the windows, right? Because even here, the negative energies, they get caught by the smoke. I mean, the energies that may cause you nightmares. I mean, nightmares can have all kind of different sources, but it helps to smudge your bedroom with it. So not only that mugwort smoke offers like great protection against spirits or negative energies or entities, it is also very relaxing and soothing. So, and like I said, it's very helpful for mild depressions or if you have weak nerves. And it will help you dissolve fears. It gives you self-confidence, courage, So it is a strong helper, like in transitional rituals, and to cope with grief and loss, and a strong cleaning herb. So like I said, it eliminates like really negative energies, including the electrosmog, like I mentioned before. And also, like, if you have amulets or talisman, very good to clean. Because, or minerals, right? Your crystals and all, because really it will, not only that it will cleanse them, it will recharge them at the same time. So, and if you, in an oracle, and the mugwort should not be missing, you know, at all, like, because it will strengthen your intuition, and it will promote the clairvoyance, and it helps you to gain new insight through. Yeah, and like I said, you can smudge mugwort very nicely with pretty much everything, but you can also smudge it by itself, so whatever you prefer, right? And so, and it has a very, yeah, I would say earthy fragrance. Yeah. I would say like bittersweet, earthy, I would say. So, and then last, I have the resin. One of my favorites. That's why I'm starting with that. It's a Benzoin Siam. And the Benzoin resin comes from different benzoin trees, right? So, and mainly used is the resin of the Siam benzoin. So, and as the name refers to, it's growing mostly in Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, or Cambodia. So that's what the name pretty much suggests, right? So, and there's also the Sumatra benzoin, which is a little lighter. The Siam is a little darker. So, and they're both from Storax trees, but they're not to be confused with the Styrax. So, yeah, and those trees they grow really high, and like 1,200 meters, 1,500 meters. I don't have inches, so excuse me. And they reach an age of at least 6 to 10 years. So how they gain the resin is they gain it through cuts and knocking on the wood. So, and that's how they stimulate it. And yeah, and after hardening of the resin, then they collect it. So, yeah, not too happy about it actually. But again, like I said, nature gives to us, but don't be greedy, you know, and make sure you always leave a little offering, a thank you or something, and make sure the plant or the tree is taken care of after. So the benzoin Siam, it's a very warm and yeah, balsamic, and I think a little vanilla-ish. I found it also very earthy, depending on what you smudge it with. So yeah, and so I believe benzoin Siam is like one of the most important incense in Asia, and it's part of many incense sticks. And in Egypt, this resin was used as an ingredient in perfumes. So, and I think they still do it up to date in the perfume industry. So, and in Europe, it was used as a wound balm and tincture for skin diseases. So, and the smoke of this resin is like a remedy for respiratory diseases and for skin diseases. So traditionally, you smudge this resin in cleaning or protection or blessing ceremony. So this is why it would go very well with the mugwort. So it directs our attention and energy from the outer plane, our daily life, to our inner self and connects us back. So it affects us, I would say, humans, like relaxing and calming. So the worries and the fears, the pressure and the stress of the day, they will be tenderly carried away because it's a gentle fragrance as well. So, and this way we can open and breathe again. So Benzoin Siam, it helps us to create a harmonious balance of energies in us. So, and therefore it's like really nice to smudge that in the evening as well. So, and it also, like, I find it gives you like a little sense of security and well-being, especially like in times of emotional pain. So, yeah, I like it very much together with mugwort. Yeah, it also helps with, like I said, with sadness and depressions, and with the support of it, it's easier to build bridges to your soul, right? Yeah, and it can give you access to your own inspirational area. So it stimulates your imagination and creativity. So yeah, so for this reason, you can smudge it like as a support, if you're like artistic or active, if you want to support anything, if you want to paint a picture, for example. Yeah, it's really nice. So I really highly recommend it for sensitive people. I think I can't talk anymore. Here we go again. Yeah, and especially with physical and mental problems, like as a protection. So, like I said before, like for the third time now, it works very nicely with other supplements, like other herbs and flowers. So, but if you only want to use it by itself, then you should first crush the resin in the mortar that I told you, and only use it like in very, very small doses, because that prevents the overdosing of the smoke. I mean, try it out and then you will know what I mean. So yeah, and also what I like about benzoin or others, like the smell lingers like for hours in the room. I just love it. So yeah, I'm done with my little intro, which took an hour again, but it was the intro and I wanted to explain a bit more. The next videos will be shorter. Like I said, I will just be talking about one resin and one herb or flower or whatever. So I have an idea already, a plan what I want to do. So yeah, I hope you liked it and you can do something with the information. And yeah, it took me a while to get the charcoal really going because I'm a very impatient person and I wanted it right away, and it stank and I wasted incense, and yeah, now I know better. So, and I remember the very first time I ever smudged with not knowing what the fudge I was doing. So I got this big box. Oh, that was like almost 20 years ago. I got everything that I could buy, right? All kind of resins, all kind of herbs, and I just picked whatever I just thought would be nice, crushed it and smudged the crap out of my house, not even knowing what I was doing. I just thought I wanted to try out all my little gifts, all my resins and all my herbs. Yeah, that didn't fly too well. I think I mentioned the story before. Like, I had to call my shaman friend for help. I'm like, help, something is in my house. So yeah, I think I invited pretty much every ancestor that didn't even belong to me. So that was fun. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, just concentrate on the purpose that you are planning to do in with the smudging. Is it the healing on body parts, the soul part, cleansing in houses? Just yeah, you will practice, and then after a while you will also able to read the smoke, and I will talk about that too later on. So yeah, that was it for today, and I will talk to you again next week Tuesday, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.